When you find a real estate platform that aligns everyone in the entire company financially by making us real estate agents owners, so when the average agent wins, everyone wins, that's the secret to success. And when you surround yourself with like-minded entrepreneurial people who absolutely love what they do, they love serving people, they love God and life, and you put yourself in an environment of high energy, high producing, positive people every day, you can't help but succeed in business and life. We are changing the real estate industry and changing real estate agents' lives. Welcome to the Financial Freedom Forever podcast. Well, hello, everyone, to the Financial Freedom Forever podcast. I'm super excited today to be talking to my friend, Coach Randy Byrd. How you doing, Randy?
Dude, I'm doing amazing. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, for my listeners out there, you're in for a treat today. Man, Randy's been as a real estate coach. He's a team leader, an entrepreneur, off the charts. 19 years as a real estate broker. He's licensed in California and Oregon. 29 years as a general contractor. Past Keller Williams leader. Past KW operations principal. Full-time coach for 9 years. He's a speaker. He's a trainer. He's a mentor. He's been a coach for 4 years with very well-known coaching company, Tom Ferry, and has his own coaching business as well called Byrdhouse Development. And he's also coached for Success Coaching and Team Leading with EXP. And the list goes on, but we'd be on here for another 10 minutes if I gave him more of your background, Randy. So, and I know you're a super humble guy, and I'm excited about this conversation today, Randy, because we know each other from EXP, being on the leadership calls that we have every week with leadership, and you're always, I'm pretty quiet on those, and I just kind of take it all in and speak up once in a while, but you really give back to the entire community, and I really appreciate you for all the stuff that I've been learning from you and from other guys in the organization. So thanks for joining me today.
Dude, it's an honor, and you're a legend. What are you talking about? I'm blessed to be on this show with you, and you're definitely a leader, and I think people giving back. That's what this is all about, and I'm honored to be here, and thanks for the kind words.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's I gave just a 20-second snapshot. Let's dig into that a little bit more and tell us a little bit more your background, your real estate business, et cetera. And tell my viewers a little bit about your background, Randy.
Yeah. So, to fast forward a little bit, I entered the real estate space just purely out of greed. I just wanted all the money and all the commission. I was home builder. I was a remodeler. I was a remodeler, general contractor, doing some pretty big additions, started doing flips, and started partnering with a couple of people doing flips in Sonoma County, Napa, and, working 7 months through the winter in the freezing cold and standing water on top of the sill plates and all this. And then, get all done, and they'd sell the house in a weekend and make 40 grand commission. I'm like, what am I doing all winter? I'm going to do that also. So it strictly was just out of a greed posture of I'm going to just have all the money. And entered the real estate space 2003, went to work for a little company in Santa Rosa called CPS. Don't even know if they're around anymore, but they trained me for about, probably 2 months. And after all that training, I was just ready to hit the road. And my wife at the time said, I want to move. I want to move to Redding, California. And I loved Redding because we went to Lake Shasta all the time. So I knew Redding very well geographically, but I knew that many people. I literally knew 3 people in town, and I was related to all of them. And so I'm like, I'm in. Let's just do it. I'll change careers up there since I got to start over anyway. Build construction, build real estate. It's kind of all the same. Yeah. And so I just went grassroots. I started building my real estate business from zero and didn't know anybody. And, that's a lot of what we teach today now is if you were dropped out of an airplane in the middle of Utah, Kansas, New York, it doesn't matter. What would we do in the first 90 days, 180 days, and the first year? And, I'm able to say that I've done that and built a pretty nice business over a couple of years. And, that's kind of how the real estate journey started.
Okay. So what year was that you moved to California?
So I moved from California. So I was in Santa Rosa 2002, moved up to Redding in 2003 and started with Coldwell Banker.
Okay.
I'm going to talk about brokers. I love them all, right? I have stories, but they're not bad or good. They're just stories. It's my journey. And I went to Coldwell Banker because they were the biggest office in town by far. They had 140 or 50 agents compared to the next office had maybe 50, 60. And I'm like, I'm brand new. I got to go with them. I don't have a name for myself. So I'm going to go with somebody that has the name, right? So I was leaning on their reputation as I didn't have one. And so went to Coldwell Banker, again, went right into it and said, what do I do, man? Point me in the right direction. They're like, up there. And I'm like, God, what's up there? And they're like, no, training locker upstairs. And I'm like, okay. I go upstairs and open up this metal picture, dust falling, the Dead Sea Scrolls in this training locker. And I pulled out literally Floyd Wickman Sweat Hogs. The first thing I saw, I had no bearings of anybody. Right. I'd never been to a coaching seminar, nothing. And so I grabbed Floyd Wickman Sweat Hog. They pointed me up there. It must work. So I just did it. And it was probably 1978 tapes of saying what to do, which was call 100 people a day.
Right.
And so again, I don't know anything about anything. The broker pointed upstairs, somewhere between God and him was this training locker. And I just started doing whatever it said. And I remember Sweat Hogs going through that. And so chapter 1, call 100 people a day. Don't quit till you get to 100. And so I would. And I'd get to 100. I think it was if you got to 100 or an appointment, right? So that was kind of the reward. Because I remember getting to 60, getting an appointment, and being able to be done. Got to 99 twice in like a month's time and got my appointment on 99. I remember that.
Oh, wow.
And, here comes the people in the office, all the producers, all the guys. I'm kind of a guy's guy, so I connected with guys right away. But they're coming back, giving me a bad time. Like, this is Randy Byrd with Coldwell Banker CNC Properties. And, please buy a house from me. I'm desperate and all this, kind of mocking me. And I'm like, I'm just doing what the dude said to do,
Yeah.
And so, and then week 2, I got into it. And I remember the tape. I remember it said, hey, call between 9 and 11 every day. So I did that, just like he said. And then the second week he goes, okay, don't call between 9 and 11. Nobody's home. Call at 5:30 at night. And I'm like, why did I just do that for the last week? This is stupid. But I did it. And sure enough, I had better results. So he's probably building that muscle and having you understand there's differences and so on. But I went on to, I don't remember exactly what I sold, 8, 9, 10 units. But I remember I got my first deal in the first month, a little land listing with an 80-year-old woman that came in and wanted to meet me personally and drove her 45 minutes out of Redding into Shingletown in the mountains and sold her this little 7-acre plot of land that she had to a buyer. So I double-ended my first deal. Means I had the buyer and the seller, got paid double. And so I had a 35% split, I believe it was, back in Coldwell Banker days, 35 on my side, 65 to their side, plus the franchise fee. Wow. So I don't remember what it was. It might've been $125,000 transaction. And I remember I got my first check and it wasn't very much, but I was like, okay, that was easier than construction. And went on to be Rookie of the Year, which, it didn't amount to much money. I'm used to making a couple, 100,000 a year in construction.
Right.
I think I made 38 grand in my first 8 or 9 months. I was at Coldwell Banker before the year ended. And I remember going, man, I brought in a lot of money and I only made this much money. I'm on this 30% split basically. So I decided I was going to ask for a bigger split. And again, this is, it's historical value. It's not made to be bad for anybody that may listen to this. But I went to the broker's office with a lump in my throat, like, hey man, I did the best. You said I was Rookie of the Year. You said I did great. Can I get a raise? And they're like, you're brand new. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm beating everybody. And they said, well, it doesn't matter. There's expenses. And we're doing all this, and we could take you to 60-40. And I'm like, man, that's just doesn't, can I at least get to a 50-50? I'm begging for a 50-50.
Yeah.
It didn't happen. So with a tear in my eye, and it's a true story, I cried on the way out. I cried with the broker. I was like, hey man, I really love you guys. I'm really trying to do the right thing, but I'm going to go to Remax because they have 100% commission. He goes, don't let the door hit you on the way out. It was just kind of this.
Wow. Rookie of the Year. Don't let
Partying,
the
the party wasn't that partying. But I went to Remax, which now it's 100% commission, but it's a significant monthly fee. You know, I think it was 11 or 1,300 a month. And here I have made 38 grand in my first year of real estate, or my first, beginning 8 months or whatever it was, because I started kind of the beginning of the year. And I just hit the ground, Brad. I was running hard, man, and never looked back. Did 11.8 million my very first full year in real estate. And again, never looked back. I remember I made 338,000 GCI after expenses in that model. And I always said, man, what the broker, the structure of the broker is very, very important.
Right.
And I loved the balloon, loved the model, thought I'd never leave. And a couple of years after that, I was one of the top agents in town and all the top producer panels and all that kind of stuff. And Keller Williams kind of swooped in and made me an offer. I said, nope, love Remax, never leave. Made me another offer. Nope, never leave in Remax. Made me a third offer. I'm like, I'm stupid to stay at Remax with this offer. And so I joined Keller Williams as the team leader and was offered ownership. And that was really kind of the beginning of my career, both in production, understanding of production, building the team. I started coaching as a team leader regionally, coaching, and just went from there, man. So I love the story. I haven't told this story in a long time, so I was a little long-winded there, but man, it was an incredible journey and experience. And that leads, us to where we are today, of being able to help agents navigate these, tough times. And we've got a market shift happening squarely. Right. And so all those things are what we lean on to try and help others move into a position and posture in their business to get through this.
So how many years were you at Keller Williams?
I was at Keller Williams just shy of 4 years, 3 years and 7 months, I think. I was the team leader for 2.5 years, and I was the OP for a year, and we ended up winding it down. And the bottom of 2008, 9, and 10 is when I took over in 2007. And again, don't quote me exactly, but they were losing about 40 grand a month. And they come in, and here I'm the team leader. I'm like, I'm gung ho. I've got a really solid team I brought over, not the model to have a production team as the team leader, but they wanted, that was part of our agreement. Yeah. And so I came in there, and in the first 90 days, I cut that loss to zero. And that was a big deal, but we were making big decisions, and I didn't have any skin in the game. I'm not the one that built it. I'm not the one that put the signs on the wall. I'm not the one that built the big offices. I was just like, dude, we're losing money. We're cutting this thing in half. So we literally built a wall in the middle and said, you could have the rest back, landlord. We started cutting things. I got rid of the copy machine. I'm like, if we're losing money, it doesn't matter. So in my opinion, we righted the ship financially, but the market was still, it was in a very precarious time. They've been losing money for months. So when they started doing cash calls, and now I'm one of the owners, is that gracious amount of ownership they gave me, I started writing checks back. I was like, man, this didn't go exactly as I had planned, but love the model, still bleed red. It's, Gary's built a beautiful model. It's just, it was the dominant model of the 90s and maybe the 2000s. Right. And, things change along the way.
So when did you first hear about EXP, and what was that journey look like?
I remember the day. I remember the call by Brent Gove, a very good friend of mine. Brent called me, and he's like, Byrdman. We'd both been team leaders in the Keller Williams model. One of my brothers, he's my brother, right? He's a friend. He's a brother. Byrdman, you got to look at this. I was coaching for Tom Ferry full time now. I was not in production, kind of sold my production team. He goes, you got to look at this. I said, absolutely not. 100% not interested. Been there, done that, got the franchise t-shirt. And he goes, yeah, don't do it for you. I know you're happy. I know you're doing great things, but do it for me. And is it flashing a little on your side, the screen?
No, it looks good.
Okay, cool. So I'm just getting a little flash. I want to make sure I was probably talking too much. No, but he goes, you got to look at this. Look at it for me. Don't look at it for you. Look at it for me. You love me, don't you? You like me, respect me. Watch it for me. Protect me. Poke holes in it. Tell me what I'm missing. It's too good to be true. I know it. And I'm like, oh, I'll do that, baby. I'm like, loosened up the collar. I said, we're getting into this. I'm going to tear the cover off this thing. And back then, Rob Flick did the webinar personally. It was an hour and a half plus webinar. Love Rob Flick. Love, love, love. But man, I didn't know him. So I listened to 20 minutes about him bragging about himself, about, the Navy pilot and all this stuff. And I was like, dude, I got like a small window of time. Just get to the meat and potatoes. And what he was doing, he was edifying himself, and he was building a story that I didn't understand at the time. And so then 35 minutes into it, I'm kind of tracking along for my buddy Brent, and I'm writing down things that I think are too good to be true. And then all of a sudden he says, and it's revenue share. It's top line revenue share. It's not profit share. And I'm like, well, what'd you say? Because I'm very familiar with profit share, 7th level, Keller Williams, recruited 55 people in my first year personally. And he said, yeah, this is a mathematical certainty. It's top line revenue. And I said, how's that possible? And it just changed my wiring. And that to this day, I remember that getting my attention. And then he said some other things that kind of just didn't land on my radar, but I was really intrigued by this revenue share. I'm a network marketer. I believe in geometric progression and growth and all these things. And I said, how is the company show me the plan where this is sustainable.
Right.
And, you got something here. And he goes, yeah. And Brent now, by the way, 7 a.m. phone call Pacific time. Brent called me, connected me on Zoom with Rob Flick on a webinar, actually, and then went back to sleep with Kathy. He was sleeping through this whole thing. And he set his timer for like an hour because he knew Rob was about an hour and 15 minutes. And so I'm going on with Rob, and I'm like, this is incredible, right? I'm really getting it. And by the way, I'm selling myself on it. And so by the time Brent gets back on, probably about 8:30, 8:35 at this time, he's like, what'd you think, man? Is this something I should do? And I'm like, dude, this is amazing. Now I'm still in a posture of like, you got 3 things I'd be worried about, right? Revenue share. Is it sustainable? The stock, it's an OTC over-the-counter penny stock. It's garbage. It ain't worth shit. Nothing. So I'd be careful about that. I knew nothing about stocks. I'm just being an expert at this point, right? I knew nothing. And then I said, the company's small. It's only got 2,000 agents. I said, I'd be worried about that. It's not proven. I mean, you're a stud. You're a legend in the real estate, literally a legend, number 1 RE/MAX agent in California and 10 or 11, 12 in the nation. Keller Williams, top guy, top recruiter, top everything. And I was like, I'd give it a couple years, check this out. But if these things are all true, I would absolutely do it. And he goes, yeah, so let's look into it together. If they're true, what do you think? Would you do it with me? And I go, if those are all true, I would do it. And so over the next 1 or 2 days, we looked into it. And I said, dude, I'm in. I joined. And I want to be careful with I want to preserve my confidentiality with Tom Ferry. And I respect that system a lot. I was coaching full time. I was really golden handcuffed to that model at the time. So even though I totally got EXP, I was told no attraction. This is early on. This is when EXP was just coming on the scene. And I was told, not once, but multiple times, hey, choose one. Recruit, build a team with EXP or a coach. You can't do both because they wanted us broker agnostic. And, at that time, they were even reluctant to bring in Keller Williams team leaders for the same reasons. And so I honored that, mostly out of fear, honestly, hindsight 2020. But Brent went on from, I came in a week after Brent. We both came in September 16. And I was, I think, the 8th person that he called on his list, which I'm flattered and grateful, but I did nothing. I did nothing for over 2 years. Wow. And finally in 2018, I went to an event in Vegas because Brent kept asking me to the events. And I went to an event where they announced, I met Glenn Sanford and Gene Frederick. I remember the legend from Keller Williams days. And I met a couple other people I knew. And Rob Flick, I knew his name, but didn't really know him personally. I got to hang out with these people and Sheila Fergeron at the time. And they announced they were going on the NASDAQ. And I go, that's the one thing that was really kind of bugging me is they didn't have stock market legitimacy in my uneducated opinion. And I said that day, I go, okay, it's time to do this. Still had the golden handcuffs, but I just decided to start building. And, I made my list of 10, like Brent taught me. One of my first guys was Don Yoakum. He was my fourth or fifth or sixth person I called, I think. And he'd heard it 6 or 8 times, but it wasn't the right time. And when I called, it was the right time. And so he came on board, and his first phone call and his top 10 list was Tom Daves, which was a very good close friend of his, lifetime friend. And very quickly, within a week, Tom Daves came. And so all of a sudden, within this short period of time, I brought on rock star number 1, and he brought on rock star number 1, literally number 1 guy in the world for Kayla Williams 7 times, right?
Yeah, so yeah. Tom Daves was number 1 for how many? 7, 8 years?
7 years. Yep, 7 out of like 15 years, he was number 1 in the world. And I just remember going, man, I'm not going to be able to keep this quiet. I'm trying telling him not to post my name on social media and don't tag me. And it just was a fire hose. These guys started adding dozens and dozens of people, and lots of influence, lots of skill. Don Yoakum built 10 Keller Williams offices from the ground up, part ownership in over 30 offices at the peak. Amazing skill set these guys had. And I was just blessed to be in the right place, the right time. And so we built a big organization pretty fast. And now, we're in a place of helping a lot of people change their lives and change their financial and time future. And time and financial freedom is the magic. That's the magic that EXP has brought and continues to deliver. And now in a leadership role like yourself in the beta and alpha groups and different things, you get to meet the principal people. You get to meet the people that are the foundation behind this company. And I'm in awe. I'm absolutely in awe. And so it's, for me, it's just, it's been an absolute blessing. I could kiss Brent on the neck every single day about making that phone call to me. And just so many people are afraid to make a phone call because of how they'll look to their friends, or they've heard it before. I would not be the person, the human, the spouse that I am today if Brent had not made that call to me and not been persistent in that language.
Yeah, that's a beautiful thing. I mean, with the model that we have at our fingertips, a lot of us will say, it's life-changing, but when it really happens to you and you're able to you change your financial history, and now you're able to start changing and helping other agents that are just in the grind every day, working hard, loving what they do. We all love what we're doing, helping agents, buyers and sellers. But you can never get off that transactional treadmill. Yeah. And EXP's helped that model's really changed everything. How many team members do you have now? How many lives have you started changing now with your group?
So I'm a whisker under 900 right now. I think I'm around 848. I had 973. You'll appreciate this. I had 973, and we had a big team off board. They just had challenges and market changes and different things. So we had a big team off board, which brought me down around 800. But we're crawling back up. We're close to 900 again. We'll break 1,000 here by mid 2023. Yeah,
and thanks for your honesty. Everyone talks about the growth. There's always some people, it's just not the right fit or not the right timing, or there's challenges. But I know for so many of the people that I've dealt with as well, I get those phone calls and those texts, on their year and their second year anniversaries. Thanks, man. Thanks for that phone call. You changed my life. And that gets you right here when what this model has done for people.
It is. And you said, real estate is a noble profession. It's an incredible profession with a lot of upside. There's just not a silver lining at the end of it. And you can do it if you're extremely disciplined and committed. And out of my 20 years in real estate here in about 2 months, 20 years in real estate, coaching over 10 or 15, maybe 20,000, probably 15,000 hours of coaching, conservatively. I've met 5 individuals in my life that had their crap together from a real estate career. 5. I mean, wow. Invested in multiple properties, have time and financial freedom. I know I got hundreds of people that have financial freedom, right? But they do not have time freedom. I know a lot of people that have time freedom that wish they had financial freedom. But the balance, the two of them is magical. And I literally can name 5 people that I've met that I would look up to in a position that like, wow, you did it right. You know, Josh Barker is a good friend of mine in Reading, sells 700 deals a year. He's done it right. He's got his life in balance. He's a balanced Christian, a balanced husband, a balanced servant to the community. And he's got a massive business, and he's got a massive investment portfolio, and he's done it correct. And he's been a Mike Ferry coach for years. So, you know, he's had some of the best coaching on the planet to guide him. But I believe if he didn't have that coaching, it would be a different story, you know, and this is not a play for coaching. This is just saying that it's a little bit of a genie in a bottle to go on your own and try and build this life and career worth owning and worth having on your own. And I don't know about you. Have you ever been to a realtor retirement party? I've never been to one. No. I've been to a couple funerals where they die in the chair. And I'm saying that with a little tongue in cheek when it's a serious matter, but that's not the journey that I signed up for. I remember I was on a top producers panel many years ago, and they asked me, they go, what do you love most about real estate? And they were going down the line, and everybody was like, I love this, I love that. And it got to me, and I'm like, this is easy. I was at the end of my career in construction. I physically couldn't pick up stuff anymore. I was in a leadership, role. I had big crews and stuff, but I love touching lumber. I love doing stuff with my hands. It's hard for me to not do it. So I love real estate because I could do this till I'm 75. I could sit in this chair until I'm 75 and I could do this. I've struck gold. I've reached the magical pinnacle of a career or a profession. And I want to wash my mouth out with soap when I say that. I literally want to wash my mouth out with soap that I uttered those words. And that was my belief. The fact that I could do this, and every year we talk about the treadmill, but it's real, man. When you're on 3.0 and you got an incline, you got to run at that speed. And then when you get used to that speed, you tap it up a little bit. Your lifestyle, your house, your cars, your friends, your hobbies, all this stuff starts matching that. The market changes. You get slapped. You started readjusting. The market gets better. You start readjusting. It's really a slippery slope when you start looking at building an equality in your balance of life and income and investment opportunities. Listen, it's the best profession on the planet. The insight to investments, the insight to knowledge, helping others, being a servant, and being able to, I was involved in so many community programs. I was the president of this and the president of the Builders Exchange, the president of the Airshow, whatever it was, right? It was having the time freedom of not working a 40-hour week. I felt like was freedom, was time freedom. And it was to an extent, but I had to do it forever.
Yeah.
And so, yes, EXP has offered me that opportunity to exit the transactional treadmill and help more people. I mean, I had 100 agents in my office, and it was, we were very successful. We were number 2 office in all of town in just 3 years from really nothing. And, now I'm impacting almost 1,000 agents around the world. I don't even know. I think we're in 3 or 4 countries, India, Dubai now, Canada, obviously, and half a dozen to 24 states in the US. It's just really amazing that we can have that impact on people and live our best life doing it. I don't know about you, but I love travel. That's my why. Yeah. That's on my dream vision board is travel, right?
Right.
Guess what? I got 30 states I can go to, and it's business, baby. I got a couple countries, and if I love Italy, if Italy's where I want to be, if I want another house in Italy, I'll just go recruit in Italy. That's the way I look at it, man. I'm sure. I'm
just like you. I really love to travel as well. And we jumped on that river cruise ship with Chuck Fazio and his team, and went to Europe for I don't know, was it 7-10 days? And my wife and I never been to Paris, so we jumped over to Paris for a few days prior to, and checked that off the bucket list. And that was all business related to for that cruise. Everyone on that cruise ship was with the company, and most everyone. Amazing. And it was an amazing trip. Yeah, it's really cool. And we hung out with Amy Weaver, the VP of growth.
One of my favorite on the planet. Amy is the salt of the earth.
being a real estate coach yourself, a mentor yourself, you have your own coaching business. And I know a lot of the other team members in the company as well do that, have their own coaching businesses. But correct me if I'm wrong, because the way EXP is set up, they allow us to help coach and train our team members for absolutely free, where they're able to get access to people like yourself and people, 4 or 5 of your other team members, I'm sure, or your organization are coaches, and get to hang around you all day and get help from you. And that's all part of the deal, right?
It is all part of the deal. Not only part of the deal, it's encouraged. All ships rise with a rising tide. I love the statement because it's a visual. And when you start pouring into people, they drink from the same cup, and they start pouring into people, and it catches fire. And so when you have 80,000, 87,000 people running the same direction and believing in the same thing, it's magical. It's powerful. I remember being the team leader of my office, trying to build culture. It was in a tough time, a tumultuous time, and we were just struggling culturally. And I remember trying to build that. And, I'd go to my top producers, and they had their doors shut. They had their windows drawn. This is not, everybody in that particular brand. This is my experience. But it was like, knock, knock, knock. Hey, can you, do this? Hey, I'm busy. I'm doing my thing. And even though that was a profit share model, it was completely a different feel. I feel like I have brothers and sisters in this company, true people that care about me. Matter of fact, I could prove it. Dozens and dozens. Chuck Fazio is not related to me in any way, but there's a connection respectful connection. He'd be available right now if I called him and he was free.
Yeah.
Same thing. We're not financially connected, related, other than under the umbrella of EXP.
Right.
And when you ask me to be here, I like you as a human being. I like you as a person. So I would do that anyway. But now there's an incentive for me to help you grow. There's an incentive for me to do well, to help you do well, to help the company do well, to be a face and a voice for the company. Gene Frederick says it's best. It's over. Because when you think about EXP having 87,000 team leaders effectively, we have 87,000 ambassadors, team leaders that believe in the same thing. Yes, we're getting there. Oh, they're drinking from the Kool-Aid, right? Like I got that back in the days with Keller Williams.
Right.
I'd call agents in 2007. Hey, man, I'm super excited. I want to talk to you about your business. Oh, you're going to make me drink the Kool-Aid? It's no different today where it's the same Kool-Aid, right? It's just when you're passionate about something, it's going to push certain people away. The gift is sharing it with them to a point that they understand it. They can digest it and internalize it because it's indisputable. Once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Jay Kinder, one of my favorites, right? I could have that tattooed on my arm. But it's true. When you see it, I was a hard no. I was watching it for my buddy because he asked me to, and then I was pissed that it was going to be that long. And then I signed up 2 days later, right? What changed? It wasn't the smooth salesman, although Rob Flick is. It's because my interpretation changed. My absorption of the content and belief system changed. I believe we're going to 1 million agents. I believe that this company will become unstoppable and will be the face of real estate over the next 2 decades. It's my belief. The writing's been on the wall so far.
Right.
We grew by 46,000 agents in the last 24 months. 46,000 agents in the last 24 months. In comparison, Compass has got about 23,000 agents after, I think, 10-year anniversary they just had. So we've added 2 Compasses in the last 40 or 24 months. Math doesn't lie, right? These numbers don't lie. So when I look at that, if I was even on the outside investing, I would be looking at that kind of growth and the trajectory of that. And again, COVID happened and it really crippled a lot of companies. We shined because this is a company made for that cloud-based, virtual-based environment. I personally think that's the pendulum has swung. COVID proved to all the agents that they don't need their brokers in their office locations to do business. They were forced not to. Matter of fact, I know certain offices that had chains around the doors. I'm not going to say names, but they went bankrupt during this time. But in the beginning, they chained the office and said, don't come in, COVID, stay away. and the agents went away, right? And then that led to probably the demise of that particular brokerage. We embraced it. We have the ability to pivot very quickly and adjust because we're not encumbered by all these offices and all this massive overhead and massive loss now that companies are experiencing. We're agile. We can move very quickly. So I really commend, Dave and Jason and Glenn and all the leaders that pivoted very quickly during COVID. And
right.
dude, in 48 hours, we have a whole new curriculum, 48
right.
hours. And so we were already virtual. We were already cloud-based. So we flourished during that period of time.
I remember we had our event in Orlando for the next super conference there, the shareholders meeting, and they had to delay it just by a couple of weeks, I think, because that just happened right during COVID, right? But within a few weeks, they built out an entire online presence just for that event, and we had,
mind-blowing,
I think, like 10,000 people that were able to show up, even more than they would have had live, and it was an amazing event. So when other people were shutting down their training and couldn't get together, we doubled.
Yeah, flourished, and they did it in weeks. It's just that pivot is what's needed in this market. I imagine being a broker owner with a 30, 40, 50, 60% decline in revenue seemingly overnight from the interest rates. We're sitting here in November, 2-3 days after Thanksgiving, and rates are squarely at 7%. And there's no sign of them, changing. And so it just adjusted the real estate market literally overnight. And so all of a sudden, if you have fixed expenses and only that, you were geared up for the 2-year run of the hottest market in our lifetimes. And to go from that and gearing up for that, staffing, that's why you're seeing all these massive layoffs is they were trying to catch up to this crazy market, right, super fat as they're training and bringing people in. All of a sudden the spigot's off. We have the ability to adjust. We have the ability to pivot on a moment's notice. That's a big ship to turn when you're talking thousands and thousands of offices and personnel. So I'm very blessed to be in this position. And honestly, a lot of the big team leaders and builders were waiting for the market to shift, because when agents are having the best times of their career and the most profitable, highest amount of GCI in their career, they usually don't move, even though we added 46,000 during that time. Now's the time that they're going to start reevaluating costs, expensive models. And that's just where I want to be. I want to be an opportunity to share this with the people I care about. And those are agents I've done deals with, agents that are in my circle of influence, past clients, past, people in the real estate industry. And, some of my close vendors, lenders, title, all those become advocates for what we're doing and what they're seeing happen in the space.
What do you see yourself in the next 5 years with your business, and what are some of your goals in the next 5 years?
Yeah, so my 5-year goal is 10,000 agents in 5 years. So we want to double every year over the next couple of years. And to not make that sound selfish, it's because I want to impact 9,999 lives.
Yeah.
I am blessed. We just bought a place in Puerto Rico, and we're going to spend about half the year in Puerto Rico because I love the tropical climate, and I don't like Oregon in the winter. I love Oregon. Go Beavs. They just won the big, the Civil War game against the Oregon Ducks just this week. And we were celebrating in the household because I am an Oregonian now for 6 years. But I don't like winter there. I'm cold. I don't like it. And so now I have the blessing, the ability to decide where I live in the winter or all the time. And that's come from this blessing. So the reason I say that is because it's not about a bigger house for me in the growth that we're going to have. It's about having more of my people here with me, more of my people going on a cruise with me. There will be a day that I fill a cruise line up with my people on my dime. I'd like to do that. That's just something that I'd enjoy to do. Imagine having a cruise full of your people. And like you said, you're just, it's just amazing. And watching them reach their time and financial freedom goals is just, it's an absolute just passion.
That's what it's all about when it comes down to it, right? Is time freedom and financial freedom, where so many people don't have both, or they don't even have one. And we were just like that. We were on that transactional treadmill ourselves for years and years, and teaching as coaches, teaching team members how to really grow. And yeah, we tell everyone, invest in real estate and invest into, start your portfolio, et cetera. And hopefully a lot of people have done that. But you're only good as your last transaction. And Glenn Sanford has just set it up so nicely with the multiple ways that we can all, earn passive income with EXP. That's the game changer, and all being owners. Yeah,
absolutely true.
Well,
what I heard, oh, sorry to cut you off. What I heard, you said something that was really powerful there. What I heard the other day that I'd never thought of before ever is when I was at RE/MAX, I was happy. When I was at Coldwell Banker, I was happy. I was at Keller Williams, I was happy.
Yep.
I'm at EXP, I'm happy. So I've always been a happy agent. But at Coldwell Banker, I was a happy renter. At RE/MAX, I was a happy tenant, renter. At Keller Williams, I felt like I was part of an owner because I was brought into the ownership, but I was still a renter. It was not my company. It was nothing to do with my equity. And now at EXP, I'm an owner. I'm a mortgage holder, right? That's the difference. There's no other company on the planet that gives you an ownership opportunity, a stock opportunity. And to think of like that my whole career, I was blind to that it was I was in a renter. I was renting, trading time or trading dollars for activity and time in that brokerage. It's nothing bad against them. It's just an old-fashioned model.
Yeah.
I think this is the future of real estate, is bringing the agents on the same playing field as the broker. And it's an inverted model. That's really what I saw 6 years ago. And that's what I think is changing the industry.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we teach all of our clients, stop being a renter and becoming a homeowner, and home ownership is the American dream. And that's what we do. But as agents, if you don't have ownership in your company, then we're not doing exactly what we teach, right?
That's right. I don't care if it's 70-30, you're only paying $1,000 a month. 80-20, you're only paying $800 a month. 98-2. We just brought over an agent that was 98-2 split. She's like, how could you ever match that? I go, it's not about matching. Matter of fact, economically, we beat that with what her net was, believe it or not. That shocked even me. But it's not about the split. You're just a renter. It's about getting ownership and equity opportunities within a company. And that's what's making us different. That's why we're unstoppable.
And for those top producing agents out there, selling 30 homes plus or minus a year, they would all get ownership in the company at a high level of getting over $16,600 per year after year after year of ownership, just for doing exactly what they would be doing anyway.
It's so true. And that is the mind blowing, right? If you can connect with an agent that's doing about 30 deals a year, which is kind of guaranteed the icon level, get a hold of you and find out why this model makes absolute sense. That's the greatest tragedy, I think, is the agents that are doing that level of production that don't understand that they can have $16,000 of equity per year of their real estate business, doing what they're already doing, paying what they're already paying. So in a couple of years, you got 32 and 64 and 80,000 at today's price.
All right.
There's no guarantees. There's no claims of what it's going to go up or down. But historically, if you look at the chart, there's been a lot of opportunities in that stock. And I believe those great opportunities are ahead of us.
I'm there, right there with you. Just a couple of questions. I'll let you go, Randy. I know we went a little long, but
no, man, I've loved it. I've enjoyed it. Thank you for the time and the opportunity.
What would you say to someone like yourself that was not? They were happy. They're very happy where they're at. Not interested in making a move. What would you say to someone that's like that when you were to approach them?
So my attitude has changed because the more you see and the more you get, the more, belief, your level of belief increases. So if it was somebody I cared about, I'd grab them by the neck and I'd choke them until they stopped squirming. And then I'd say, you have to watch this. It's literally financial malpractice for you not to at least see this. Now you could say no. I honor that. I'm okay with no, but no before you know, no. That sounds pretty cool, actually. No before you KNO, no. Maybe I'll get that website. But it's financial malpractice for you to not look at this. Now, if you look at it and you go, business-wise, this, X, Y, Z doesn't make sense, 1,000% we're friends. But if you say no to something you don't know what you're saying no to, that's really not the people I want to hang out with. And it's not personal. It's just that's their journey. Yeah. So my job is to be able to come into a place of respect for them. I want to come into a place of appreciation, gratitude, and respect and say, please lean on my relationship with you to look at this. That's all I ask. Look at this. And if we took it with that much passion, I think that we'd do a lot better. But unfortunately, we're living in this place of fear. We're living in this place of call reluctance or rejection. Oh my God, I've been called by 20 EXP agents this week. Okay, you have not seen it for sure then, because there's no possible way that you saw the model and you have that opinion. Not that it's good for you. I'm just saying you haven't seen it. So until you see it, please don't tell me how many people have mistakenly sent it the wrong direction, right?
I mentioned, well, geez, if you had 20 people call you, that's flattering, isn't it? I mean,
100% flattering. 100% flattering. And so now they've gotten desensitized to it to where they're just a no before they're any no. Yeah. So I always say, hey, do me a favor, dismiss all that stuff. They're good people, but they haven't connected you with the message. Let me connect you with the message. Would you just, whatever it takes, I will buy you lunch. I will meet you somewhere. I will come to you. You owe it to your family to at least understand why I'm so passionate about it.
Hey, Randy, anybody that's listening here today, if they know you or just love your energy, and it doesn't matter if they're in California, Oregon, or Puerto Rico, how can they reach out to you if they want to ask you questions or just to learn more about your story?
I appreciate it. So my phone number is 541-570-5777. Or you could always go to byrdhouse.team with a Y, BYRD house.team. That's like our full organizational site.
All right, fantastic. Last question. I promise to let you go. I always ask at the very end, if you're a reader, what's the favorite book that you'd like to recommend today? Or if you're a movie watcher, what's your all-time favorite movie?
Oh, dude, great question. I've got so many of them. And I didn't read a book until about 7 or 8 years ago when I joined Tom Ferry and started coaching 8 years ago, probably. And I became, I'm a consumer of books and Audible a lot. My favorite book's Think and Grow Rich, without a question. Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins has left an indelible impression on me. If you want to build a network marketing business, David Carruthers' Building an Empire is amazing. Book that changed my life and my morning routines is Miracle Morning by, what is that? Hank, I think. Miracle Morning is an amazing book. Yeah. Really changed my belief system around my routines and things. And movies, I'm just, I'm an Oak Island type of guy. Yeah. I'm a History Channel, Oak Island buff. I love that. And I think, for me, it's like kill your TV. I do watch Netflix. I do subscribe to Netflix, and I love chilling out at the end of the day, watching a series or something like that. For me, Blacklist was like, I binge watched Blacklist.
Yeah, I like that show too.
That is when they killed Elizabeth. Oh, hopefully you've seen this before. I'm not going to say.
Yeah, anything. I've seen it. Yeah, well, that's all right. Yeah, we've seen it.
For me, it's really books. And right now I'm doing audibles on things that are training. YouTube Secrets and Expert Secrets is a great book about online management and running ads and all that stuff. So that's kind of where my head's at. Anything that's going to move me forward in education and helping others some way.
Hey, we're always training. Even the coaches need a coach, and
absolutely,
and brings us to the next level. Thank you,
100%.
Randy, for all your time today. I really appreciate you.
I appreciate you, man.
Looking forward to seeing you at one of the next live events, and we'll be
100%.
jumping on. I'm sure we'll be jumping on the next call of the leadership here this week.
100%. I appreciate you. Thank you for having me, and it's always a pleasure to connect with other leaders. And you're killing it, man. I'm really proud of what you're doing, and we're gonna be looking at each other along the way.
Awesome. Have a nice rest of your day, Randy.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Rock and roll. Cheers.
Okay, bye-bye.
Thanks, man. Bye-bye.
Listen to what our business partners are saying about our FFF group.
Being a part of our 3Fs group with my luxury brand, to be able to go out there and know that we have such like-minded, amazing, dedicated, hardworking, and passionate people, that knowledge and that ability to be able to reach out and someone to answer within minutes of me having any questions that I might have has been just unbelievably amazing. And I'm so happy to be a part of this group.
What I love most about the Financial Freedom Forever group is the culture of helping and the amount of resources that are available out there for agents who want to grow their business. You can access 4 or 5 different training sessions per week is awesome.
I believe if you surround yourself with like-minded people that are doing 10, 15, 20 times more than me and you put together, we all bring each other up and bring our businesses to the next level and our lives. To learn more about how to partner with us, go to partnerwithandre.com or click the link below, and let's have a conversation.